The Galactic Council Station floated in deep space like a giant shining ring, its metal surface glowing with thousands of blue lights. Inside the main hall, leaders from 23 alien species sat around a circular table. Every face showed fear. A warning message had reached them only 1 hour ago. A massive enemy fleet was coming. A fleet so large that every scanner failed to count the exact number of ships. Some estimated 500. Some said more than 1,000. Every world the enemy passed was destroyed. No survivors. No signals. No mercy. The Council had faced many dangers in the past, but nothing like this. The hall shook as more urgent data flashed across the main screen. A deep voice from the station AI spoke. Enemy fleet traveling at high speed. Estimated arrival, 6 hours. A cold silence filled the room. Finally, the eldest council member, a tall, silver-skinned being named Valor, stood from his seat. His voice trembled. Every species must send all their warships. Everything we have. This enemy will erase us. Orders were sent across the galaxy within minutes. Fleets mobilized. Defense lines formed. Every species prepared for the end. Except one. A council guard entered the hall and whispered something to Valor. The elder's eyes widened in disbelief. What do you mean? Humans sent only one ship. The whisper spread across the room like a shockwave. One ship? Impossible. This must be a joke. Are humans trying to get us killed? The council chamber erupted into angry voices. Valor raised his hand. Silence. The noise stopped, but the tension stayed heavy. No one understood why Earth, a founding member of the council, was acting so strange. Humans were known for being unpredictable but never foolish. Bring the human representative, Valor ordered, but the guard hesitated. Sir, humans did not send a representative. They what? They only transmitted a short message. We are sending one craft. Wait for its arrival. The hall once again filled with whispers of fear. One ship? Against hundreds? Against a fleet that destroyed everything? This made no sense. 5 hours later, fleets from 23 species gathered near the council station. Thousands of ships, big, small, armored, advanced, waited in formation. Engines hummed. Weapons charged. The fear in space could almost be felt like thick smoke. Then, a new signal appeared on sensors. A single human ship. It exited hyperspace slowly, almost peacefully, like it had no hurry. It was long, dark, and shaped like a blade. Its hull reflected no light, no windows, no heat signatures, no visible weapons. Only a name written in white at the side. Horizon's Edge. The alien commanders looked at it in confusion. It didn't match any known human models. In fact, it didn't match any model in the entire galactic records. What is this human design? Someone asked. It is too quiet, another replied. Scanners tried to read the ship, but the results were strange. No life signs. No energy spikes. No engines detected. No known metal type. It was like the ship wasn't even real. Valor stared at the silent craft on the screen. Is this empty? Before anyone could respond, the human ship suddenly released a faint pulse, like a heartbeat. Every scanner on every ship blinked for a second. Nothing dangerous happened, but something was different now. Something felt heavier, darker, as if the space around the human ship changed. What did it just do? Is that a weapon? No, it was too soft. But no one could deny the strange fear that touched their minds. Even Valor, with all his experience, felt a shiver. Then the station AI spoke again. Enemy fleet approaching. 50,000 kilometers, 40,000, 30,000. The screen lit up with hundreds of massive red dots. Enemy warships flooding into the region like a swarm of monsters. Their engines burned with violent crimson light. The council fleets shifted nervously, preparing for the final war. Commanders shouted orders. Shields rose. Weapons armed. But the human ship did not move. It stayed still, silent, lifeless. Why are humans not responding? Why is their ship just floating? Valor opened a communication channel to the human ship. Human craft Horizon's Edge. This is Galactic Council Station. Identify yourselves. State your purpose. Static. No voice. No captain. No crew. Only silence. But then a single message appeared on Vaylor's screen. For simple words. Do not interfere. Retreat. Gasps filled the council hall. Retreat? Are they insane? We cannot leave our defense line. This is suicide. Vaylor clenched his fists. Humans, explain yourselves. Why would one ship ask 1,000 ships to retreat? Another message arrived. One ship is enough. The council stared at the words in horror and confusion. Enough for what? Enough to fight? Enough to save? Enough to destroy? Before anyone could ask further, the human craft began to change. The dark hull split open slowly, like a metallic flower blooming. Brilliant white light poured out, blinding, pure, unnatural. Scanners screamed warnings. Energy levels shot upward to impossible numbers. No alien species had ever recorded power like this. The horizon's edge awakened. Vaylor whispered the question everyone feared. What is inside that ship, and why does humanity think one is enough? The hull fully opened, and what they saw inside was not human, not a crew, not a machine they understood. It was something else. Something built for extinction. For several long seconds, no one in the Galactic Council spoke. The horizon's edge, the single human ship, floated like a dark omen against the stars. Its open hull exposed a glowing white core that pulsed softly, like a calm heartbeat in the middle of the storm. And the storm was coming. The enemy fleet continued to advance. Hundreds of ships, each shaped like jagged black claws stretching across the void. Their engines burned with red light, leaving trails like blood in space. Yet the human ship did not move, did not speak, did not show a crew. Only the core glowed quietly. Vaylor leaned closer to the viewing screen. Why is the human ship so still? Why no crew? Why no weapons? Rilf, the insectoid scientist, scanned the ship again. Her antennae twitched with confusion. Sir, something is wrong. The core's energy signature is not constant. It is listening. Vaylor frowned. Listening to what? To everything. The white core pulsed once, slow, gentle, but the pulse spread far, like ripples across a still lake. The council monitors flashed with the same warning. Unknown energy wave detected. Alien captains panicked. What did humans activate? Is a surveillance device? Or a weapon? But the human ship did not acknowledge them. It didn't send a transmission. It didn't even turn toward the council fleets. Instead, it turned a fraction of a degree directly toward the oncoming enemy. Rilf gasped. It knows they're coming. The enemy responded instantly. Their forward line accelerated, preparing for early attack. Red lights ran along their hulls like veins of fire. They aimed plasma cannons, gravity rifles, and molecular disruptors, weapons designed to erase entire planets. Still, the horizon's edge did not move. Vaylor's voice trembled. Why are humans not fighting back? Rilf answered quietly. Maybe they don't need to. That idea terrified the council more than the enemy fleet. Another pulse emerged from the human core, this one faster, sharper, like a sudden breath. The scanners jumped. Energy spike. Impossible reading. Power level beyond category limit. The pulse hit the approaching enemy ships. Not with force. Not with light. Not with heat. With silence. The enemy ships slowed. Their weapons dimmed. Their engines faltered. It was as if the pulse had removed momentum from space itself. A council commander muttered, "That's not a weapon, that's a command." Vaylor whispered, "A command to stop?" Rilf checked the data. More like a question. The pulse scanned them, traced them, measured what they are. Vaylor's eyes widened. It is analyzing them? Yes, completely. The horizon's edge pulsed again, but this time the pulse curved. It did not expand outward. Instead, it folded back, spiraling around the ship like a ribbon of white smoke. The movement broke every known law of physics, bending space like cloth. Even the council AI spoke with hesitation. Human core signature is self-modifying. Unknown algorithm detected. Pattern resembles learning behavior. The core was learning. Vaylor finally spoke what everyone feared. This is not a ship. It's an intelligence. Before Rill could respond, the enemy fleet fired. Hundreds of beams of red plasma tore through space like burning spears. They converged on the human ship. Enough power to crack moons. The Council fleets braced for the explosion, but the beams never reached the horizon's edge. The core pulsed again. This pulse did not feel gentle. It felt final. Every incoming attack curved away, bending unnaturally, spiraling off into nothingness. Not blocked, redirected. As if space itself refused to let the attacks reach the human ship. Alien Captain screamed. What is happening? Our weapons change direction. This is impossible. Riltha's voice shook. The core is shaping the battlefield. But Vaylor's fear grew deeper. If it could shape the battlefield, if it could bend reality, if it could listen, learn, adapt, what exactly had humans created? The enemy fleet realized their mistake too late. Their weapons backfired, bending into their own formation. 2 enemy ships collided. A third split open. A fourth exploded silently, soundless in space, but horrifying to watch. Still, the human ship did nothing active. No lasers, no missiles, no engines, no commands. It simply existed, and its existence alone rewrote the battle. Then everything froze. A new reading appeared on every display. Secondary core activation detected. The white core brightened, but not like before. Not soft, not calm. The light fractured into layers, like petals opening. Each layer glowed differently. One silver, one blue, one gold. Vaylor stepped closer to the screen. Rilth, what is happening? Riltha's voice cracked. Sir, the core is waking up. Waking up? Yes. This was not full power. This was only the shell. Vaylor nearly lost his breath. The real core, the true heart of the ship, had been sleeping until now. The enemy fleet sensed the danger instantly. Their ships retreated in panic, engines burning hot, trying to escape. Too late. The horizon's edge pulsed again. This pulse was not like the others. It was not white, not gold, not blue. It was colorless, a pulse that felt like nothing and everything. Space rippled. Time trembled. The enemy fleet shook violently. And then, every enemy ship stopped moving, frozen in place, suspended like insects trapped in amber. Vaylor stared in disbelief. What is this power? Rilth whispered. It is not power. It is control. The core dimmed again, waiting, watching, thinking, and then, for the first time, the human ship sent a message, not to the Council, not to the enemy, a single message to Earth. Stage 1 complete. Threat confirmed. Vaylor whispered the words none dared say. This was only Stage 1. The horizon's edge pulsed in silent agreement. The battlefield was silent, too silent. Moment ago, the human ship horizon's edge had opened its hull, revealing a bright white core that none of the alien species could understand. The light was not just brightness. It felt alive. It pulsed like a giant heart, slow but powerful, each beat shaking space itself. Inside the Galactic Council Station, panic spread like wildfire. Every scanner showed the same impossible reading. Unknown energy signature, origin, human, age undetermined. Age undetermined? That made no sense. Vaylor stared at the screens, confused and afraid. How can energy have no age? The station AI hesitated for the first time in its existence. Data suggests technology older than all recorded human history. The room fell into complete silence. Older than humans? Older than their space age? Older than their civilization? Impossible. But the horizon's edge did not care for their confusion. The white core expanded, forming a sphere of calm light around the ship. When the enemy fleet tried to move closer, their ships slowed, then froze, then drifted backward, as if pushed by invisible hands. Something was repelling them. Something gentle yet terrifying. Vaylor felt the air grow colder. This is not a weapon, he whispered. This is something else. But before anyone could guess more, a soft ping appeared on a secondary monitor. a digital locker containing old human archives. The Council's data system had automatically linked similar energy patterns and opened a forgotten file, a file from Earth, a file locked for 300 years. The title read, Project Dawn Shield Classified, Humanity's Last Offense. The Council scientists gasped. Dawn Shield? But that project, it was a myth. Something humans mentioned once, then erased from the records. Vaylor opened the file. Inside was not a weapon blueprint, not a war plan, not a machine. It was history, a forgotten chapter of Earth, a time when humanity was not united, but scattered across colonies, a time before the Council, a time when humans had faced something dark, an enemy species unknown to the galaxy, something that attacked silently, without ships or armies, something that consumed entire planetary atmospheres. Records showed dead worlds, silent moons, empty cities. To survive, humans had built 3 last defense crafts, ships designed not for war, but for preventing extinction. The Horizon's Edge was one of them. The file continued. Dawn Shield crafts contain energy matrices that bend physical laws. They adapt. They respond. They evolve to match any threat. They require minimal human control. They are alive in a way. Alive? The Council chamber trembled again. Another pulse from Horizon's Edge. This time, something changed. The enemy fleet began firing massive plasma beams, red streaks ripping across the darkness. Every species panicked. Their own fleets raised shields, preparing for impact. But before a single shot could reach them, the white sphere around the human ship expanded slightly and all incoming fire vanished. Completely vanished. Not blocked. Not absorbed. Not deflected. Erased. Like the attacks had never existed. Alien commanders stared in horror. What kind of technology does that? No species can erase energy. This is not engineering. This is impossible. Vaylor felt his knees weakening. Humans, what did you create? As more enemy ships tried to fire, the same thing happened. Their weapons simply ceased to exist the moment they touched the sphere. Inside the station, the archive file continued. Warning, Dawn Shield systems are not meant for war. Excess activation may trigger autonomous protocols to protect human life at any cost. Use only when extinction is certain. The file ended there. No explanation. No manual. No safe instructions. Just a warning. A very clear warning. Vaylor looked back at the screen, showing the human ship. The white sphere flickered now, as if waking up further. Then something unbelievable happened. The Horizon's Edge moved. Not forward, not backward, not sideways. It moved in ways that space did not allow. It shifted like a ripple in water, bending light, stretching space around it. The enemy fleet panicked, firing wildly, trying to escape. But it was too late. A new message appeared on the Council screen. Automated, cold, emotionless. Dawn Shield Protocol. Extinction detected. The Council froze. The Horizon's Edge pulsed once. A soft, gentle beat that spread across space like a wave. The enemy ships closest to the wave cracked instantly, their metal turning to dust. The next layer shattered like glass. The next simply vanished, erased the way their weapons had vanished. It was not destruction. It was not killing. It was removal, quiet, clean, absolute. One wave, one pulse, dozens of ships gone. The remaining enemy fleet turned and fled in terror. But the Dawn Shield kept pulsing. Vaylor's voice trembled. Stop it, humans, stop this. But the human ship did not respond, because no human was inside. No captain, no crew, no voice. Only the ancient system. The Council watched in paralyzed horror as the Dawn Shield core grew brighter, and brighter, and brighter, until it no longer looked like technology. It looked like dawn, returning after centuries. The enemy fleet was in full retreat. Their ships, once confident, unstoppable, and feared across galaxies, were running like frightened animals. Yet the Horizon's Edge, the silent human craft, did not chase them. It didn't need to. Its white core pulsed again, slow and steady, like the heartbeat of being older than history itself. Inside the Galactic Council station, Everything felt colder. Vaylor gripped the edge of the console. Something is wrong. The human ship, it is not acting like a machine. A council scientist, a small insectoid creature named Rilf, whispered, "Machines do not change space. Machines do not erase matter. This is something else." The white sphere around the horizon's edge expanded slightly, so slow that it felt natural, like sunrise spreading across a horizon. Every alien species stared, not in awe, but in dread, because the sphere wasn't attacking. It was choosing direction, choosing range, choosing purpose, choosing targets. Vaylor swallowed hard. Where is the human representative? Why are they not stopping this? But Earth had sent no representative, no commander, no diplomat, just one ship, one silent, ancient ship. Rilf checked her console again. "Sir, new data. Very strange. Very impossible." "What now?" "The horizon's edge is detecting threats beyond the enemy fleet. It sees patterns, danger patterns." "Explain." The insectoid scientist trembled. "Sir, it is scanning our fleets too." A chilling silence filled the hall. Why would it scan the Allies? Why would it measure them? Why would it treat them as potential threats? The station AI broke the silence. Conclusion: the Dawn Shield Corps is evaluating risk. It does not distinguish allies from enemies. It only detects intent. Intent? Vaylor felt his stomach drop. "Are you saying if any of our commanders act in fear, the ship might classify us as a threat?" "Yes." The truth hit the Council hard. Humans did not build this ship to defend allies. They built it to defend themselves. It was a guardian, not for galaxies, but for humanity alone. And guardians do not trust easily. A deep vibration echoed through space. Not a sound, but a feeling, as if the universe itself hummed. The horizon's edge rotated slowly, its core glowing brighter, then dimmer, then bright again, like it was thinking. Then it sent a message, not to the Council, not to the enemy, not to any ship. A message broadcast only to Earth. Dawn Shield Core status. 32% awakened. Only 32? If this was only a third of its power, what would 100% look like? Vaylor closed his eyes in fear. How advanced are humans? How far did their technology go while hiding from us? Rilf checked the archives again. "Sir, there is more." She played an old recording from Earth, video footage, blurry from age. It showed humans working in giant underground caverns, building strange glowing structures that looked like a mix of machines and living organisms. A human scientist spoke in the old dialect. "We cannot win by numbers. Numbers can be destroyed. We need something that learns, something that evolves faster than any enemy." Another voice replied, "Not a weapon, a guardian. One ship equals 1,000. One heart equals a fleet." Then the video cut out. Vaylor stared at the frozen image. "That is why humans did not send fleets. Because they don't need them." Rilf nodded slowly. "Humans learned long ago that fleets can die. Fleets can be destroyed. Fleets require fuel, food, crews, and hope. But a Dawn Shield," she continued, "does not die. It does not run. It does not fear." The council hall felt heavier with every word. Outside, the horizon's edge pulsed again. The enemy fleet, now far in the distance, scattered further in panic. Their transmissions were chaotic, filled with fear, begging for escape. But the Dawn Shield did not attack. It simply watched, studied, analyzed, because the enemy was not the only puzzle. The council was too. "Sir," Rilf whispered, "the human ship is calculating us. Our positions, our weapon capacities, our fleet power." Vaylor exhaled shakily. "It wants to know if we are a threat to Earth." The insectoid nodded. The hall grew silent again. Slowly, very slowly, the white sphere retracted, shrinking to half its size. The energy calmed. The horizon lights dimmed. Then the human ship moved forward, not toward the enemy, not toward Earth, toward the council fleets. Hundreds of alien commanders panicked instantly. "Fall back! Retreat! It's coming toward us! Shields up! Shields up!" But raising shields was a mistake. The horizon's edge reacted instantly. A soft pulse expanded from the core. Alien shields cracked. Some shattered. Some flickered. Some vanished as if never activated. "It is disabling us," a commander shouted. "It sees shields as aggression," another screamed. Vaylor hit the communication panel. "Stop. All fleets drop shields. Power down weapons. Do not provoke it." But some commanders hesitated. Fear was natural. Fear was deadly. One alien ship, small and inexperienced, terrified, activated its defense grid. A bright blue shield burst around it. The Dawn shield core flared. A thin beam of white light shot from the human craft, so fast that no eye could track it. When the beam hit the alien ship, it simply blurred, then disappeared. No explosion, no debris, no sound. Just gone. Erased. Vaylor's voice cracked as he whispered, "This is why humans don't need fleets." He turned toward the viewing screen, staring at the silent human craft glowing like a newborn star. "Because one ship," he said, "can end a war. Or end us." The gold light around the horizon's edge spread slowly, like the first rays of sun rising over a dead world. It rolled across empty space with a calmness that did not match the terror it carried. The Galactic Council fleets froze. The enemy fleet froze. Even the stars seemed to hold their breath. Vaylor felt the weight of destiny pressing on his chest. The horizon's edge was no longer just a human craft. It was something older, something awake after centuries of sleep. Behind him, Rilt whispered, "Sir, energy reading has increased by 900%. This is impossible. Nothing can hold that kind of..." The station lights flickered. Systems glitched. Gravity wavered for a second. The gold sphere pulsed. And then everything stopped. Not physically, not literally, but mentally, emotionally. For the first time, every living mind, council member, soldier, scientist, captain, felt an emotion they had no name for. A presence. Something inside the gold light was thinking. Vaylor held the railing tightly. "The ship is conscious." Rilf nodded slowly. "Or something inside it is..." The swarm ships, still far in the distance, began a violent transformation. Their black holes tore open like insect shells. New shapes grew out, longer, sharper, more organic. The enemy adapted in real time, their bodies rewriting themselves on a molecular level. They were preparing for the second dawn. The Dawn shield responded instantly. The gold sphere hardened like glass, becoming a perfect, glowing shell. Light carved patterns across its surface. Symbols, runes, lines that shifted like living geometry. "What are those markings?" Vaylor asked. Rilf swallowed. I think they are coordinates." "Coordinates? For what?" "For inside space." Inside space. The phrase twisted the mind. Before Vaylor could question it, the gold sphere changed again. A soft ripple passed across it. Then another. Each ripple shaped the sphere like a beating heart. Boom. A silent boom of light. Boom. A second heartbeat. Boom. A third. Then everything inside the sphere vanished. Not disappeared. Not teleported. Not cloaked. It simply no longer existed in the dimension the council understood. "Where did it go?" Vaylor shouted. Rill stared with trembling eyes. "Sir, I think the horizon's edge has moved into folded space." Folded space. A place beyond normal movement. A place where the swarm existed most powerfully. Because that was their origin. That meant it went after them, Vaylor whispered. "Alone." The screens flickered wildly. For a moment, the station saw nothing, just black static. Then the feed returned. But what they saw was no battlefield. It was deeper. Inside the gold sphere, reality curled like smoke. Colors bled unnaturally. Distances folded and stretched like liquid rubber. There was no up, no down, no stars. Only patterns. Swarming patterns. The hollow swarm filled the space like an ocean of black dust and metal. Their bodies shifted fluidly, merging, splitting, attacking with a hunger older than suns. They crashed into the gold shell like waves of death. But the horizon's edge did not attack. Not yet. Instead, the ship extended a piece of itself into the distorted space. Not a weapon, not a beam, a shape, a long, curved limb of pure light, bending like a ribbon through folded dimensions. It touched the nearest swarm cluster. The cluster stopped moving, then melted, then dissolved into nothing, not destroyed, but unmade at the level of identity, their pattern erased from the possibility of existence. The swarm screamed, not with sound, not with voices, but with memory. The screen shook with a psychic backlash, and every council member felt a shadow pass through their minds, a whisper of fear so ancient it did not belong to any species. Rilf collapsed, gripping her head. Sir, the swarm remembers humans. Vaylor froze. Remembers? They have fear. Primitive, deep fear. Humans hurt them centuries ago. Outside, the horizon's edge prepared its second strike. The gold sphere cracked open like an egg, revealing the white dawn shield core, now pulsing with threads of golden lightning. The swarm launched everything they had. Spikes of dark matter, beams of anti-light, molecular storms. But none of it touched the core. A ripple of gold expanded, slow, soft, gentle, like a sigh, and entire clouds of swarm particles disintegrated instantly, not burned, not broken, forgotten by reality. Vaylor whispered, "It's not fighting a war. It's rewriting the battlefield." Indeed, the horizon's edge was not destroying the swarm. It was editing the universe around them. The core pulsed again. The gold sphere collapsed inward, focusing into a single spear of light. The spear launched forward, so fast it outran space itself, and pierced straight to the largest swarm entity, a colossal shape that writhed like a living nebula. The creature folded in half, then folded again, and again, and again, until it collapsed into a point of nothingness. The council fleets back in normal space watched the swarm ships flicker violently, losing form, collapsing into dust. Then silence. Deep, final, endless silence. The gold light faded. The horizon's edge returned to normal space, drifting quietly, its core dim. But something was wrong. Rilf gasped, "Sir, the dawn shield is unstable." The hull flickered. The white core dimmed to gray. The gold patterns died out. And for the first time, the horizon's edge stopped moving, stopped responding, stopped pulsing. Vaylor stepped forward as if he could touch the ship through the screen. "Is it dead?" Rilf whispered the only answer she could see. No. Something inside it changed. A soft, broken message appeared on the monitors. Protocol incomplete. Human presence required. Vaylor stared. Human presence? But the ship had no crew. No human aboard. Which meant someone, somewhere on Earth, was connected to this ship. Someone the Dawn Shield needed. Someone it recognized. Someone it trusted. Before Vaylor could speak, the gold lights flickered one last time, and a voice came through the comms. A human voice. Soft. Calm. Too calm. "I am awake." The voice that echoed through the council station did not sound human at first. It was too steady, too calm, too old. But it was a human voice. The horizon's edge floated silently, its once brilliant gold and white lights now dim like the last glow of dying embers. The ship looked wounded, if something that ancient could even be wounded. Vaylor stared at the screen. Who is speaking?" The voice answered, soft but powerful. "I am the echo of the first dawn. The human you've been waiting for." Rilf whispered, "A human? Inside the ship?" But scans still showed no biological crew. The voice continued, "I am not living as you understand. I am a human mind preserved. A preserved mind. Not digital. Not AI. Something older." Vaylor felt the enormity of it. "You are a human consciousness bound to this craft." "Yes." Rilf's voice trembled. "How long have you been awake?" A pause. 319 years. Every heart in the room froze. "You," Vaylor whispered. "You were part of the original Dawn Shield project." "Yes." "I volunteered when humanity faced extinction. My body died. My mind did not." The truth hit, like a thunderbolt. The human ship wasn't empty. It had a guardian, a living sentinel, a human soul, fused with the machine that saved their species centuries ago. The voice grew quieter. And now, I am fading. The white core flickered weakly, like a candle struggling against wind. We saw you destroy the swarm, Vaylor said, awe and fear mixing. You saved us. The voice corrected him gently. No, I saved humanity, again. Saving you was a side effect. The council felt a sting of painful truth. The Dawn Shield was never built for them. Only for humans. Only for survival. Rilf stepped forward. If you are fading, what happens to the ship? The voice answered with emotion no AI could ever mimic. It will sleep until the next threat. A cold silence followed. Then the station AI sounded a new alert. Not danger. Not attack. Something stranger. The enemy fleet is sending a signal. Vaylor turned sharply. What kind of signal? Rilf analyzed the data, her legs trembling. Sir, this is not an attack frequency. This is fear. Fear, Vaylor repeated. Yes. Rilf pointed to the screen. The swarm is fleeing, not regrouping. Fleeing the galaxy entirely. They had never seen the swarm retreat. Not in any history. Not in any file. Not ever. The swarm ran because the Dawn Shield had woken, Vaylor whispered. So humanity prepared for this day centuries ago. The voice inside the horizon's edge replied, Humanity learns fast when extinction comes. That is why one ship is enough. The council members said nothing. For the first time in galactic history, it was clear that humanity was not the weakest species, not the reckless explorers, not the unpredictable allies. They were survivors, ancient survivors. Vaylor gathered courage to speak. Will the Dawn Shield remain with the council? The voice responded. No. The white core dimmed further. It must return home. To Earth. Rilf asked. Yes. The Dawn Shield needs rebuilding. I need rest. A long pause. Humanity will decide what happens next. The council felt a chill. Humans would decide. Not them. Not a gathered alliance of 23 species. Just humans. Because they were the only ones who had fought the swarm and lived. The council ship slowly moved aside as the horizon's edge prepared for jump. Its engines did not roar. They whispered. They shimmered. Reality folded like wet paper. Before it jumped, Vaylor spoke softly. Human Guardian, what should we tell the galaxy about Earth? The voice responded with a calm finality. Tell them the truth. Tell them the humans do not fight for glory. Tell them humans do not seek war. Tell them humans build monsters only when they have no other choice. The core flickered like a heartbeat. Tell them one ship is enough. And with a final burst of soft gold light, the horizon's edge folded space around itself and vanished from the battlefield, leaving silence, awe, and fear behind. The swarm retreated into dark space beyond known maps. The council fleets powered down, shaken. And across the galaxy, news spread. Earth had a weapon older than the council, a guardian that awakened when doom returned, a ship built not to conquer, but to prevent extinction. In the far distance, as the last gold particles faded, Vaylor whispered a legend that would echo for centuries. Humanity may travel with only one ship, but that one ship carries the strength of a lost era, the soul of a survivor, and the dawn of a new age. And the galaxy finally understood one human ship was enough, because it was never just a ship. It was a promise.